Hello friends, it's Bryan from HR here. I just got my first inquiry on my new website, bryanfromhr.com. I wanted to hop on here, read the message, and give you all a little bit of insight into how I respond to average everyday employees and people out there who are navigating complex employee-employer relationships or just need some HR advice as they are going through their life. So the first one, we're going to call this person Macy for confidentiality and privacy purposes. Macy says, "Hi, Bryan. So I went on medical leave for stress leave, and then I had surgery, and I was out of work from August to October. While I was gone, they gave my position to a new LVN, and when I came back, they told me I had to float and be a float nurse since they gave my position away. Now, as a float nurse, my hours are getting cut because they don't have enough patients for me to see, so they have me clocking out early almost every day. Is this legal? Shouldn't my position have been saved?" She goes on to say, "And I get that they had to hire a new nurse to cover my visits and my patients while I was out, but now that I'm back, should I have been given my position back and the new nurse be the one to now have to float?" Great questions, Macy. You're asking the right questions. A couple of things here. Let's unpack this because, first and foremost, if you are a full-time equivalent employee and they are forcing you to clock out early every day and or you're not meeting what is considered to be full-time equivalency, you could be misclassified as a full-time employee or part-time employee. So you want to consider that. Look at your average hours, look at how many hours you're working. What does that look like week over week, pay period over pay period, now that you're back to work? Now, let's tackle this position thing. So you're in the state of California, and in the state of California, we have this thing called the CFRA. That's the California Family Rights Act. It is exactly the same as the FMLA, which is the Family and Medical Leave Act that applies across the board federally in every state. So California often has its own version of everything. Most every federal employment law, they have their own version of that. And then more and more California specific employment laws that do not apply in a number of other states. That said, FMLA and CFRA generally run hand in hand. And so you need to be eligible for FMLA. That means you need to be employed by your employer for 1 year and or work the equivalency of 1,250 hours. If you have met that, then you are eligible for FMLA. If your employer is required to provide FMLA or job protected leave. So, for example, if your employer has fewer than 5 employees, they may not be required to provide FMLA coverage or job protected leave for you. There are a number of other intricacies and nuances here. Let's assume that you have a physician statement that the employer gave you a certification by your physician to complete, and your FMLA was approved by the employer, and your job is indeed protected. Under FMLA or CFRA, yes, you are absolutely right. You are generally required, the employer rather, is generally required to give you a comparable job when you return. And there are there's verbiage in the language of the law as it relates to what comparable means. Generally speaking, it's same benefits, same pay, same schedule, similar things that you were doing prior to your leave. So, on to the new nurse filling your role. The new nurse, the employer is well within its rights to hire somebody to come in and fill that gap. The business still has to run, right? Whether I'm on leave or you're on leave, our employer still has to operate. And so, yes, they are more than within their rights to fill that position in a temporary capacity while you are out on your leave. But yes, they are also then required to give you your position back, or one that is considered equivalent when you come back from your leave. Um, One thing that I didn't think about at first, but if your hours are being cut, there could be an FEHA violation here as well. FEHA is the Fair Employment and Housing Act. Um, and so they handle things like retaliation and discrimination and things like that. And so there could be a violation under FEHA if your hours are being cut, especially if the reason that your hours are being cut is directly connected to or tied to your medical leave, or the fact that you just came back from a medical leave. So something there to put in the back of your brain and consider. Here is my recommendation. You have some options. First and foremost, if it's not documented, it did not happen. Document everything. Make sure that everything that you are communicating with your employer is in writing. Make sure that it is date stamped, time stamped, that you have every single conversation in writing, so that in the event that you need to pursue this further with a regulatory agency of some kind, and or you find yourself in a hearing situation, you have the documentation you need to protect yourself, because at the end of the day, the burden of proof always falls on the employer. The employer is required, particularly in the state of California, to show up to that hearing situation or that complaint or that claim with documentation that shows that they have maintained the confines of compliance as it relates to conducting business in the state of California under California employment law. So document, document, document. If you're not satisfied with their response, first of all, let me say what you should put in that document. Write something to your HR or employer. Ask for the reason for reassignment. Ask for confirmation that your your medical leave was under FMLA or CFRA, so that you can confirm that it was indeed job protected leave. Ask for all of that in writing. And then if you're not satisfied with their response, reach out. I can recommend a few next steps. You might have a case that you can file with the California Civil Rights Division, or with the Department of Labor Wage and Hour Division as it relates to the reduction in wages and hours. There are some things that you can do here to make sure that you get what you deserve as an employee in the state of California, who was simply exercising your rights under a federal and state leave act. After all of that is said and done, if you need my help, you know where to find me. The rest of you, leave some comments down here. What would you do in this situation? Any other advice you have for Macy, put it in the comments section. Y'all go visit my new website, bryanfromhr.com. Book a time. You've got a 15-minute free consultation. I'm happy to hop on here and do the same thing for you as I am doing for Macy, or respond to you privately in messages. We can hop on a call. We can get on in a Zoom room, whatever makes the most sense. Looking forward to doing this again and hearing from you all soon. Y'all have a good weekend. Take care. Bye for now.